Welcome to Galveston Unscripted. Hello to my Galveston Unscripted listeners and supporters. Have you ever had an idea? Well, that's exactly what Galveston Unscripted was just a few short months ago. I started Galveston Unscripted back in July of 2021, combining an idea of starting a podcast and my passion for history with my love for Galveston. So, after 50 episodes and historic audio guides, I decided I would hop into the podcast feed and introduce myself. My name is JR and I was born here in Galveston. I spent a majority of my childhood here on the island and ended up moving back here full-time in 2018. So, if you've ever ridden the ferry, walked on seawall, gone to Red Light Coffee Roasters, or been anywhere near the East End Historic District on Saturday and Sunday mornings, the chances are high you've seen me before. So, I guess hello everyone, I'm your host of Galveston Unscripted. I wanted to take the time to tell you all the story of Galveston Unscripted and give you an idea of what to expect in the coming months. As an avid podcast listener, I had been flirting with the idea of starting a podcast for literally years. Just like starting anything, it's paralysis by analysis, right? Back in June of 2021, I decided I was just going to do it. I would read books, I would listen to podcasts, I would find interesting stories, I would take all of that information and condense all of it into an audio guide. But there's just one problem. I don't know how to build websites, nor do I know how to create a podcast, much less build an audio guide. But thanks to the help of YouTube and other podcasts, I was actually able to figure it out pretty quickly. After a couple months of trial and error and promotion on social media, Galveston Unscripted received its first 1,000 downloads. And to be honest, the podcast was kind of an accident. The podcast had received double the amount of downloads than the audio tour map, which was my original idea. The original plan was just to build a location-based map on my website that acted as the audio guide. You could just tap that location button, and if there was something historic nearby that I had done an audio guide for, you would see it. There's the pin, tap it, and listen. All without the use of an app, any subscription, and all the resources were provided right there at your fingertips. But during the process of trying to figure out how I would host the audio, I figured why not just upload all of the content to a podcast feed? That way you do not have to be on the website to consume the content. And thank goodness I put it on the podcast feed instead of hosting it internally on my website. Evidently, people are interested in Texas history and Galveston all over the world. I don't know when you'll listen to this episode, but just know, at the time of me recording this in February of 2022, the podcast and audio guide has received hundreds of thousands of downloads, which is amazing, and has definitely exceeded my expectations for this project, which is exactly why Galveston Unscripted is going to keep growing, and we're going to take this to the next level. We are working on new projects such as applying oral histories to the audio tour map, having exclusive never-before-told stories on the podcast, and providing all of the historic audio guides in Spanish on Galveston and Espanol. We are also working on user interface improvements on the audio tour website, and I cannot wait to share with you guys how we're going to implement Galveston Unscripted into the physical world. You may start noticing a few small changes with the podcast, such as cleaner audio quality, deeper research, and all-around better everything, all because we are being supported by you, the community. If you have an idea for a podcast episode or location for an audio guide, such as an event, historic location, a person who deserves to be historically recognized, or anything that pertains to Galveston, history, culture, or current events, reach out. I provided a link in the description below. And make sure to follow us on all of our social media. We are everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever the kids are using nowadays. We are there. Connect with us. And last but not least, if you know anyone visiting the island or who is new to Galveston, please share Galveston Unscripted with them. You'll be sharing the gift of historical education, as well as a quick guide to understand the intricacies of Galveston, past, present, and future. Check out the description below to share Galveston Unscripted and connect with us across all social media platforms. Look forward to hearing from you. And again, I'm your host, JR, and this is Galveston Unscripted. For historic resources or more information, check out the episode description.